Ever wished you could have superpowers? If so, what would you choose?
Humans are way more amazing than we can imagine. What if we can do things considered impossible by science, math, and physics? What if we're in our very dawn of understanding the amazing limits of the human body?
In this episode, we'll explore real-life superhumans with superpowers equivalent to their fictional superhero counterparts. Welcome to The Edge of Wonder. I'm your host, Ben.
And I'm Rob.
So Rob, if you could be any superhero, who would you be? I'm gonna say let's leave out Superman because that's not really fair given the fact that he has, every superpower known to man.
I'd never choose that wussy anyway. Man, I would love to be Thor. I mean, check it out. The dude can do everything. He can fly, he can control lightning, he's bulletproof. I mean, he's a god, so he's basically invincible, but way cooler than Superman. Plus, he gets the crap beat out of him. I mean, he did lose an eye.
Well, I can definitely see you as Thor, especially now. So my favorite superhero has always been a little bit more unconventional because it's been Professor X. I always liked him and really related to him. But now I'm actually leaning a little bit more towards Doctor Strange.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have his superpowers.
What the heck, man? Yeah, Doctor Strange is kind of cool. Plus, he makes Loki look like a Central Park street magician. Don't do that again.
I have been falling for 30 minutes!
All right, let's get started. First on our list, Ben Underwood, the boy who could see without eyes. So Ben Underwood was diagnosed with retinal cancer at a very young age and had to have his eyes removed. Soon, he was able to detect objects around him by just making clicking sounds similar to a dolphin called echolocation, which makes him a real daredevil.
Wow. So by making these clicking sounds, he was able to sense everything around him and was able to run, play basketball, ride a bike, play football, skateboard, you name it, even video games.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which sounds unbelievable, but he never looked at it as a disability and always thought of himself as just like any normal person.
When Ben first awoke from his surgery, his mom prayed for strength from God and said that she wouldn't let him feel her fear. He said to her, "Mom, I can't see." And she said, "Ben, yes, you can see." And ever since that moment, he was able to see. Pretty cool.
It is. Unfortunately, Ben passed away a few years ago, but his legacy is very well known. He was on many talk shows, magazines, and front pages of many newspapers. He also wanted to learn Japanese and always saw the best in people. Kazakh, Seken, Tolebekov, the rock crusher. Okay, even though the dude isn't made entirely out of rock, we liken 87-year-old Seken Tolebekov from Kazakhstan to the Thing from the Fantastic Four. He can crush a rock with a single stroke using only his bare hands. Tolebekov first started crushing rocks when he was 24 years old and has crushed more than 2,000 rocks since.
That's crazy.
Why he didn't crush more, I have no idea. If I had that ability, I'd be crushing rocks every 5 seconds.
I would too.
I think I have some sort of power in my hand. It all started when I was young. I was feeling heat in my right hand all the time. Then I felt an urge to crush a rock. But when I crush a rock, I don't feel any pain. It feels like beating sand.
So Ben, what's really interesting is that in China there's this thing called Qigong. There's a form of it called the hard Qigong, in which people say they can develop this kind of ability which allows them to crush rocks with their bare hands.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is, it seems like this guy naturally has this ability.
Yeah, I mean, maybe reincarnation exists. Maybe he was a Qigong master in his past life. Whatever it is, this guy's definitely supernormal.
For sure.
That's crazy.
Definitely supernormal. Trichan, the man with super hands. So Luke Cage is known for having indestructible skin, and it seems that Trichan from Thailand has part of this superpower too. I mean, this guy can dip his hands into boiling oil to pluck fried chicken and other items while suffering no burns whatsoever.
So the other cool thing is that he even has a nickname, Super Hands, and holds the Guinness Book of World Record of picking up 12 chicken wings out of searing hot oil with only his bare hands.
It's crazy. This guy discovered his unique ability 14 years ago when he accidentally splashed hot oil on his hands, but then walked away with no burns.
Dude, that literally sounds like the premise for the movie of my superhero life, where I find my superpowers by frying chicken or cooking bacon. What I love about this guy isn't just the fried chicken. I love that he draws hundreds of customers who come to his street stall just to see him perform this jaw-dropping and mouth-watering technique.
But I'm sure the fried chicken is pretty good though.
I mean, it looks great. Did you see that?
It does. Love to try it. Alain Robert, the French Spider-Man. The real-life Spider-Man from France, Alain Robert, loves to climb, but not just cliffs. I mean, that's just way too easy. This guy loves to climb buildings. And get this, he does it without any harnesses or nets.
He's climbed 121 buildings around the world to date, including his biggest feat so far, which is scaling the world's tallest building in Dubai, the Burj Khalifa, which is over 2,700 feet. However, for that one, he was forced to wear a harness. The best part is he didn't want to wear it.
So ironically, he had a fear of heights and still suffers from vertigo. But he decided to overcome it by climbing. And by age 11, he climbed his first building.
Man, I mean, if only all of us could overcome our difficulties like that, you know? Right. Just hit it straight on.
Ça faisait longtemps que je regardais le bâtiment. On habitait au 7e étage, donc c'était le dernier étage de l'immeuble. 7 étages, j'étais gamin, j'avais encore très peur du vide. Et puis je me suis botté le cul, puis je l'ai fait.
So in 1982, he actually fell from a 50-foot cliff and shattered the bones in his wrist. The doctor said he could never climb again, but in his own words, he said, "In my mind, I decided I was not going to listen to these people."
Smart man. What do them doctors know anyway?
It's hilarious.
Alain is also featured in the Guinness Book of World Records and also the Red Bull's free solo climbs.
Ne faites pas ce que je fais, j'ai même pas besoin de le dire. Les gens ne pourront pas le faire.
Saint Joseph of Cupertino, the levitating monk. So I really wanted to get this one in here because this is a great historical example. This one's old, but it's also the most famous examples of levitation in history. It's said that Saint Joseph of Cupertino from the 17th century could fly high in the air, and even in front of large crowds in Italy. Wow. There are many written records, including over 150 eyewitness testimonies, providing great detail about his levitations.
It's pretty amazing. So it's even said that he didn't mean to levitate, but he would become so affected by the Mass or reading the Bible that he would enter in a state of ecstasy and just start floating. So he was even oblivious to everything around him. So this caused quite a stir throughout the church.
That's actually my favorite part. My favorite part about this story is that the church actually started to become displeased with this guy. And so he was like moved from location to location, receiving vague warnings against levitating. Because of his abilities, he was like drawing large crowds and so many people were starting to follow him and stuff like that. So since the church was so displeased, there's actually no reason for them to lie about this. He wasn't a pawn to draw more people to church or anything like that. Like, you know, a lot of the naysayers would accuse the church of, but this guy was just a nuisance, you know, that the church was trying to stifle.
Definitely.
The accidental levitator.
So, you know, I wonder if they were just jealous simply because they couldn't possess what he had while others couldn't.
Right. So they kick him out because they couldn't reach the same state. It's also said he had the ability to heal people as well.
David Copperfield, the master of illusion. So, moving on to one of my favorite superheroes now, Doctor Strange. Do you like seeing magic? Well, among all the magicians today, we think that David Copperfield is probably the closest we'll see, at least in public, to a real-life Doctor Strange and master of magic. Copperfield is considered to be one of the greatest magicians in history, and one of his most famous stunts is the time when he walked through the Great Wall of China.
So yeah, just think about this for a minute. What if a lot of what happens in the magic community isn't always about tricks and gimmicks? What if we're made to think that some of these are tricks, but what if them could actually be real, like they're hiding in plain sight?
Right, well, true. So David performed this over 30 years ago, and everyone is still baffled by it to this day. Even after the masked magician tried to explain how it was done, he actually failed to mention one thing. The wall was over 20 feet high with no doors, openings, breaks, or tunnels.
Anything.
Right, anything.
Yeah.
So also, there are platforms on both sides of the wall. So he claims that David Copperfield was hiding in the first platform and they just rolled it around. But the problem is, how did they roll it around?
How are you gonna roll it around?
And also, there was 2 platforms, like we just said. So this doesn't actually explain how David performed this trick.
Right, and also, this was filmed in front of a live audience and on live TV.
Sure.
So it would be impossible to lift it over, right?
Right. Yeah, they couldn't lift it
It's not going to go around. You're going to lift it over. Everyone would see that.
And they had a camera on the crane that was moving, and so you could see all around it and everything. So.
And also, you know, almost all of David's tricks have been basically explained, you know, especially the ones after this one. But this one has never been able to be explained. It actually is probably one of his greatest achievements, and it still remains a mystery to this day.
Yeah, and he's never performed it since either.
Yeah.
Doing it at the Great Wall was very, very exciting and really quite challenging. We brought a special remote control camera that sees me going in one side of the wall and then cranes over the top of the wall and sees me coming out of the other side all in one shot in front of a live audience there.
So there are people gathered watching both sides of the wall.
Thousands, yes.
Natasha Demkina, the girl with X-ray eyes.
X-ray vision may not be your first choice as a superpower, but at age 10, Natasha Demkina developed the ability to see into a person's body just like an X-ray machine. She is able to detect, diagnose people's health issues. This Russian girl says her ability was unlocked after going surgery to get her appendix removed.
Known as the girl with X-ray vision, which sounds more like a Google search term than a superpower name, Natasha has been able to see down to the molecular level of patients and has even drawn pictures of what she's seen. Given that she has never had any medical training, this is actually pretty incredible.
All right. So she calls her X-ray vision medical vision and has detected cysts, ulcers, and cancer in numerous patients, including reporters interviewing her. She even corrected the misdiagnosis of someone who was told they have cancer, which turned out to be false.
So aside from X-ray vision, she's also a clairvoyant. Because why is X-ray vision enough? When Natasha was in Tokyo, they gave her passport photos of different people, and just by looking at the photos, she was able to tell what health problems they had.
My main goal is that people finally believe my gift exists. So I won't have to prove it every time to ordinary people or the medically qualified that this ability exists. There are always some facts in life that are not easy for us, ordinary people, to understand.
So there are also stories of many doctors who possess this ability, and a lot of traditional Chinese medicine is based on what these doctors saw, such as acupuncture and even how the meridians flow inside a person's body.
Yeah, China is also like a ton of stories of people with all kinds of power. I mean, we could do a whole episode just on that.
We could, for sure.
So what do you guys think of our list of people with superpowers? If this video gets enough likes and views, we'll do another one about kids with superpowers. We've got a lot of kids with superpowers.
There is a lot.
There's a lot of examples.
Also, guys, please hit like and subscribe. We really need your support. And as always, we'll see you guys out
On the edge. Your feet off of there and you're gonna go like this. Ah. Do you want me? All right, one more time.
No, you just whacked my knee, and that's the thing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So wait, what do we do?